When was the last time you prayed alone all night? Not because you are going to preach somewhere. Not because you are going for a conference. Not because you needed to pray for the sick.
Watch this powerful video by God's servant Apostle Michael Orokpo, and God will bless you mightily. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. God bless you.
Sometimes when I look at our fathers, I weep because at their age, they are still more on fire than us. You see that these men are literally old, but something is burning in them that they wish they had 1,000 tongues to speak it. I'm watching Bishop David Oyedepo and he's talking. He doesn't even know how to. The thing is so strong, and you know that this man is on flames. And then you find a young man whose glory is his strength, is weak and lukewarm. I was talking to his secretary the other time. They left Dunamis around 9. They said they were going back to the office. He said the night is still young. How can the night be young around 9? People are leaving office 1 a.m. They are returning for early morning prayers by 5. 4 hours sleep is so much. And then a young man goes to bed. He sleeps from 8 p.m. to 10 a.m. He wakes up. He said, we will take our word. Which word? Those who rule don't sleep. They are awake when you are sleeping. That's why they are ahead of you. But it takes fire to be awake. This is not just discipline. This is something raging on your inside that you cannot contain. Kingdom puts a lot of demand on us. And for us to meet up the demands of the kingdom, we must burn. We must burn. Having said this, what is fire? Because fire is not excitement. Fire is not youthful exuberance. Fire is not a pot. When you find a man who is on fire, the love of God wells up on his inside. When you begin to desire God above all, when a hunger is sustained in your spirit for God, know that you are on fire for God. In John 2:17, Jesus speaking, he said, the zeal of my Father's house. He wants to interact with the presence constantly. He said, that zeal has consumed me. We are in a generation where people love everything but God. They can watch movies every day for 10 hours. But when you say, let's talk to God, 5 minutes, they are tired. And so even our vigils today, we have to augment it with drama. We have to augment it with dancing and playing so that we manage time. But the fathers of old, if they say vigil, they start praying from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. because they are engaging God. And they had sufficient stamina to remain there. I'm not saying we should not do other things in vigil. There are many channels to God's presence. But what I'm saying is, if what we do is to detract us from our weakness because we have no stamina, then something is wrong. When was the last time you prayed alone all night? Not because you are going to preach somewhere. Not because you are going for a conference. Not because you needed to pray for the sick. You just prayed all night because you know that it was a desire that woke you up. You stayed there and focused. He said, kiss me with the kisses of thy mouth. He said, thy love is better than wine. Songs of Solomon chapter 1 verse 2. Thy love is better than wine. He said, because of the savory ointment of thy name. He said, the virgins love you. We will not remember the tales of the wine, but we will keep in mind that we have come to the bedchamber of our loved one. This is the kind of intensity that men carry. People love fame. Forget that somebody is on a mountain praying in tongues. Go and check the content of the prayer. Lord, me too, I must shine. So what is powering that prayer is jealousy, is envy. How can Matthew like this be making impact and I am here? If that is what's driving you, you don't have fire. That's a strange fire. Oh, Lord, I must make it this year. I must make it this year. Why will I still be like this? Look at where my mates are. Some of your mates are in the grave. I must make it this. That's not what pursues us. The power that drives us is more of you. More of you. More of you. More of you. If that becomes the substance of your spiritual passion, know that your fire is genuine. So fire is passion for God. If you have no passion for God, you don't have the fire of God. Number 2, what is spiritual fire? Spiritual fire is the power for witness. When a man is on fire, he's a soul winner. You cannot claim you are on fire and you are not fruitful. You are not productive. The moment the fire came upon the disciples in Acts chapter 2 verse 1 and 2, we saw in verse 37 that they won 3,000 souls. We saw in Acts 4 verse 4 that they won 5,000 souls. And the fire spread into the camp. Individuals began to win cities. What kind of fire is it that we have now that we only manifest when we are leading prayer? When you come to the prayer meeting, people are not even praying. But when you give somebody the microphone, it's koporo, hahuku, whoopa, whoopa. And then we are doing all kinds of posture and all kinds of drama. But there is no appetite for soul. If you are on fire, you will pick the heartbeat of God. And the heartbeat of God is to win everyone to the kingdom. The Father does not desire that any should perish. He desires that all should be saved and come to the knowledge of the truth. And so the moment a man catches fire, he is everywhere winning souls. This was the pattern that Jesus presented to us. In Matthew chapter 8 verse 1 to 5, we saw Jesus. The Bible said he went to every city and every village. Not one, every city and every village, preaching the gospel of the kingdom, that by all means men will be saved. Number 3, biblical definition and expression for fire is the flame of purity. This generation where people take pride in praying for long, so that they are known as prayer warriors, but they are living with all kinds of iniquity, masturbation, immorality, and then we know how to manage it as though we are bipolar. When we come to church, we are spiritual. When we're outside of church, we become strange beings. And because nobody sees what we are doing, we think it's okay. We are standing before a cloud of witnesses. It's only men that are not seeing you. The number of beings seeing you will shock you if your eyes open. You think you are alone in a closed room without light. You are joking. There are eyes that see beyond the rays of electricity. There are eyes. There are eyes that they censor. They see beyond that ray. And if you are able to manage iniquity and praying in tongues loud, you are a joker. You don't know what the fire of God is. When the fire comes, it purges. Malachi chapter 3 verse 2. He will sit as a refiner, and he will refine the tons of Levi, that they may bring an acceptable worship unto God. In Zechariah chapter 13 verse 9, he said he will take a third part of them, and he will pass to them through the fire, so that when they are poured, they can call him their God, and he will call them his people. If we are able to manage and live with iniquity, we are not on fire, regardless of what we do. It's drama. Fire is purity. The flames of purity burning in your vessel. Jesus was so on fire that he was not just living pure. The Bible says, because thou lovest righteousness and hated iniquity. It said, thy God has anointed you with the oil of gladness. He hated iniquity. That's the level of purity that he carried. He was not just not away from defilement, he hated it. There was something about his appetite. See, when you're on fire, your appetite will change. You will not just avoid, you will hate it. And the day you begin to coexist with evil and iniquity, know that your fire has gone down. It's not possible for the two to blend. The Bible said if you go to the altar to render your sacrifice and your brother has an ought against you, Matthew 5:23-24, he said leave that offering there. No activity on the altar is allowed except as the heart is pure. Because the fire of God insists on purity. But I'm telling you that we are a strange species of beings. This is a generation where a man's heart can be full of iniquity, but is carrying out spiritual things comfortably. And you are wondering what has happened to the conscience. It has been seared with a hot iron. And so at best, many are professional preachers. They know what to say. They know how to touch the emotional chords of people. But there's no witness of God. And that's why our messages have no weight. Men hear us, it doesn't affect them for 5 minutes. But the fathers of old, when they write a sermon, they don't need to preach it. If they write a sermon, read it, your heart begins to burn. What did God put on their words? That a man can read a sermon and set a city on fire. Some of us who are on fire today is because of one sermon we heard 20 years ago. So the question is, what does that person who preached that sermon, what does he carry? This man knew the place of holiness. And that's why ahead of all their messages is the cross. Until tomorrow, hear them. You will see what will happen to your heart. It doesn't matter the topic they are dealing with. They can be talking about finances. If you are a sinner, you start weeping. They can be talking about church growth. If you are a sinner, you start weeping. What is it that they carried? Till tomorrow, I go back to listen to some of the ancient preachers. And if you hear them, people like Pastor Mrs. Maria Corey Tembon, people like David Duplessis, Derek Prince. You hear this man, your heart is on fire. Brother Billy Akani. And then you are wondering, what are they saying? What is it that they can? They are burning with a flame. So their words are not to inform you. Their words are to purify you. God coats their utterances with coals of fire. When it touches you, something will happen to your soul. And if we will change our word, this is the texture of Christianity that we have to present to a generation. Make the mistake to listen to some of these men and see how it will ruin your life. You will discover that your life will become a narrow path. They will narrow you to the cross and the cross alone. They don't need to meet you. And I tell you, sometimes one sermon is enough. I heard Zakun and the other time, 5 minutes into the sermon, I was weeping. What are you saying? What is it that God has put upon you? They were burning. They were a flame of fire. And trust me, our number will count for nothing except as we begin to raise men that come out of the furnace. Men that carry words that are like coals of fire. This is what will change a generation. This is what will truly impact a generation. I know the place of influence. I know the place of multitude. I know the place of financial power. But at the base of it all is the quality of witness that we bring, one that the fire has endorsed. When John began to burn, John 3:35, the next thing that happened was that the whole of Jerusalem and Judea went to him. Matthew 3:5, the whole of Jerusalem. How can one man attract the attention of a city? That is beyond publicizing. That is beyond diplomacy. There is a force that cannot be denied. It's called the anakazo of God, the compelling power. Go to the highway, compare them. See, there are different kinds of power in the kingdom. There is a power called alke. That's the power of rulership, first in rank. There is a power called dunamis. That's the capacity to create change. There is a power called exousia. That is delegated authority. There is a power called kratos. That's dynamic power. There is a power called iskus. That's collaborative power. But when it has to do with kingdom influence, the name for that power is anakazo. The force that compels men. That when you talk, your words become a sting in the heart of men. They go to bed, they cannot sleep. They hear those echoes because it looks like angels have lent their voice to your voice. And if we will create influence where governors, presidents can hear, then something must be added to our power. It has nothing to do with boldness of voice. It has nothing to do with baritone voice. Your voice can sound like a woman singing, but if there is an akazo there, men will hear you, they won't be able to sleep. But all of that is sponsored by the fire of the Holy Ghost. So if you want to have influence in this kingdom, in order to advance the kingdom, you need fire. If you want to shine, you need fire. Fire is a precursor in this kingdom. If you want your seasons activated, you must be on fire. And if you want to be a witness, you must be on fire. This is why fire is so important. It was not added as a menu in this conference just to make someone excited. It's because a lot depends on it. What is the measure of your intensity?
We want to appreciate you. Thank you for watching this powerful video by God's servant Apostle Michael Orokpo. We are happy that you have watched. In case you have not subscribed, don't forget to do so. Like, share, and subscribe. God bless you.